If you are a Christian, you are either entirely ignorant of what it means to be Christian, you haven't put any thought into it, and you just been rolling with the punches, and it's pretty much just a title to you, or you are a blatant contradiction, the likes of which we have not seen since Schrodinger's cat. Now, I'm going to explain to you why I have come to this conclusion. Need I even explain to you that this is simply my opinion? I am not stating that I am correct unless I am citing an actual fact. You are allowed to have your own opinions. That is what the First Amendment is for. And I would like to have civil discussion about this if it is possible. Now, here are my main issues with the concept of Christianity, and I am going to reference the Bible because, according to mainstream Christianity, that is going to be the source of knowledge for the Christian faith. If you do not believe that, then your own beliefs will not apply in this situation. Now that these disclaimers are over with, let us begin. Christians, you are full of shit or very willingly ignorant. If I pulled a random ass Christian from the side of the street, I guarantee that they would not be able to recite the 10 Commandments, much less in the order that they were written, or that they were written by Moses, who wrote them on stone in Hebrew on Mount Sinai, which is a place that literally does not fucking exist. That in and of itself is putting the legitimacy of what a Christian would conceptualize to be their ideals and faith under high question. The fact that one of the main components of your faith literally did not fucking happen is such an asterisk that if you were the Houston Astros, there would be literally no difference. The legitimacy of your claims are spoiled because of that fact. On top of this is that no random ass Christian from the side of the road is going to learn in the same manner that another Christian is going to learn. If Christianity is supposed to be an objective moral guide to live your life, then how come so many different people get so many different interpretations? And better yet, these interpretations are cherry-picked from priests, from fellow Christians, from the Pope him fucking self, and from just several leaders of churches to fit their biased narratives and to allow them to live the life that they want to live instead of being objective with what the Holy Book says about how to live your life. In fact, just about the only thing that every single Christian can agree on is thou shalt not kill. And even in that circumstance, we still get hundreds, literally fucking hundreds of serial killers, murderers, rapists, all sorts of horrific people claiming to be Christian people, and that they are they made a mistake, and that I honestly am a better person now because of this mistake, and I'm willing to learn with it instead of realizing that, oh shit, my religious affiliation probably had no weight whatsoever when I went out and decided to kill a motherfucker. This is true in the sports realm when Myles Garrett decided to take another man's head off, who, funny enough, is a practicing Christian, or or in the real world, when your random ass Joe, who has been down the street and only has a social life around the church, is all of a sudden committing crimes in order to sustain himself because the person he worships apparently can't provide that for him, even though he is, get this, omnipotent, omniscient, omnipresent, and omnibenevolent. Those are 4 claims that, in this order, it means you can do anything. You can know everything. It means that you are everywhere and that you can only do good. Now, we are going to get into the claims of all 4 of these things, and I'm going to show you how each and every one of them are complete and total bullshit. Let's start with omnipotence. If you ask a random ass Christian from the side of the street if their God is capable of all things, their answer is going to be yes, 100% of the time. You know why? Because they were taught from childhood that God is great and that he is capable of all things. I know that because I grew up as a Christian, and that is exactly what they teach you from generation to generation. It does not matter how far off of the traditional pious you go. That is a fundamental concept that every single Christian will agree upon, that God is great and that he is capable of all things. Here's the problem with that, and stop me if you've heard this before, but if God were to create a rock that is so heavy that not even he himself could lift it, you have created a logical paradox where God, no matter what his action is a contradiction to being omnipotent. If he can do this task, then he is no longer omnipotent because he cannot lift this rock that he just made. If he cannot perform this task, then guess what? He is not omnipotent because he can't perform this task. In either sense, he is not omnipotent. Number 2, God is omnibenevolent. He is of all things good. God is great. Well, here's the issue with that. If that is the case, then God also cannot commit evil acts because he is of all things good. And if that's the case, well, that's another thing that he can't do, which is, again, red flag, red flag. Are people not thinking about this shit? Well, obviously not, because if you have ever been to a church, you will know that the format of a sermon is I talk, you listen. There is no room for discourse in a sermon. You just take up what a priest says, and that's that. Any level of critical thought to the claims of Christ, or just Christianity in general, are fucking bullshit. It falls apart when you think about it for just a couple minutes. But because Christians have managed to monetize their faith, they have created a system where you avoid any and all sense of criticism. You do this by dismissing any critical claims or by just shutting out any outside interpretation. This has been done repeatedly in several southern states when it comes to implementing evolution in schools. If you are a private school, you may teach the kids whatever you want. But if you are a public school and you accept public money, then you are going to teach your kids the required curriculum. You got that, motherfucker? There is no room for interpretation on that. If you cannot perform that, you do not deserve the state's money. Worse off about this omnipotence, not even omnipotence, but omniscience, the omnibenevolence is that, okay, well, if God cannot commit evil acts, well, that's a big problem of itself, but it also means that whenever he does something in the Bible, it is morally justified every single fucking time. And you know what type of crazy shit God has done? Okay, I know people are homophobic, but this is taking homophobia to a whole nother level. Okay, so in ancient times, there were two cities named Sodom and Gomorrah. And God himself did not like the fact that the cities of Sodom and Gomorrah were participating in homosexual and polygamous activities. Because of this, God's first plan of action to deal with this was, okay, let's strike down these cities in full wrath mode. Fuck the fact that there are thousands of innocent people that you're killing. Nah, we gotta get rid of all of them immediately. You might also want to make the connection that he did this again during the great flood of Noah. And he just keeps getting away with it because of this unbelievable claim that he is of all things good and he knows everything. Everything he does is morally justified. Please explain to me what moral justification there is for wiping two cities off the damn map because they do two things you don't personally like. I don't personally like it when people lie about their taxes. That doesn't mean I have the right to kill them because they do that. Talk about overreaction. And remember, this is the guy that you bow your head to in prayer. What the fuck is wrong with you? I mean, shit, at least if you are unaware of this shit, you can say, well, yeah, I mean, my priest never told me any of these things because he cherry-picked everything from the Bible and only told me these good stuff, and I honestly don't know. If you are that case, please do not consider what I am doing as a personal insult to your faith. You were lied to. And quite frankly, I would take legal action, or at the very least, civic action in that instance. And I'd be pissed at the motherfuckers who were lying to you this whole time, not the motherfucker who chose to tell you the truth. Okay? However, if you are pushing this agenda out, oh, you and I got some fucking problems, because not only are you blatantly lying to everyone, but you're taking their fucking money too. Now, I mean, you see why I'm in favor of taxation for the church when they're doing this bullshit? It is one thing to commit this act, but it is another thing to have the government's approval of doing it by straight up making you tax exempt. I cannot think of a bigger way to show support for a church than to not tax them when you tax literally everything else. And I'm pretty sure that there's this First Amendment thing that says that Congress shall not respect any religion, much less exercise the free use thereof. And pretty much what that means is we are a neutral nation. We are not going to be in favor or opposition of any one organized religion. Yet for some fucking reason, all churches of any type are all tax-free. Are you fucking serious? That is blatant favoritism. Not to any one particular one church, since all of them are tax exempt, but you are showing favoritism towards religion by making it monetarily justified. Tax the fucking church. I cannot believe that it is 2020 and we are still not taxing churches. I mean, seriously, who the hell are we having in Congress that are making these ideas? Because I can now vote, and I want these motherfuckers out of office. Good day.